Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we're nasty.
I was going to ask you what you meant by the worst threat is coming from within and I think that's what you just answered, was it not?
About these camps within the United States?
Right. Is that the threat within that is so great?
No, that's only part of it.
Okay. What's the rest?
I mean, it is so extensive. In 2001, when I started really looking into the situation with radical Islam in the United States, I started doing some demographics and some preliminary research. At that time, there were 1,400 mosques in the United States. And I started looking into the funding of these mosques. And the funding came for 80% of them from Wahhabists in Saudi Arabia. They were propped up. They were set up by the Saudis. Their ongoing budget came from the Saudis. Everything came from the Saudis. That was back in 2001. There were 1,400. Now, in 2007, there are over 6,400 mosques.
Really?
And 90% of them are funded by the Wahhabists. Now, what goes on in these mosques is not nice. Sorry, Muslims. It's not nice. I've been there. You take a look at the just one case and one example, because there's a place called the Farouk Mosque in Brooklyn. It's not too far from my house. The Farouk Mosque looks like a greasy pizza joint you wouldn't want to go in. I'm serious. It's a nondescript storefront. The mosque is really upstairs. They have armed guards. If you try to go into that mosque, they will grab you by the scruff of the neck and they'll throw you out. This little pizza joint of a mosque has raised $24 million for Al Qaeda.
24 million.
24 million. 24 million for Al Qaeda. Are you listening, Al Farouk Mosque? Because that's exactly, you should be shut down. Not only that, but they have the perpetrators for we're talking about Jamaat al-Fukr. They're in league with them. They work with them. The blind Sheikh Rahman was the imam of the Farouk Mosque. They shelter and protect al-Qaeda operatives. And guess what? Out of all these, but this is just one mosque among many. They have one thing about the Farouk Mosque that is really mind-boggling. Is every weekend they store weapons there. You know, people were horrified. Yes, that's told you. Looks like a dirty bookstore, right? Doesn't it? Yeah, that's Farouk Mosque. Try to go in there, guys. You will meet inside those doors are some of the biggest dudes you ever met in your life, and they are mean. But in any case, this place, like I said, has been in operation. It has. If you in the Farouk Mosque every weekend, they take out weapons. Now, people in the United States were horrified to find that there was a mosque in Pakistan, the Red Mosque, where arms were being kept. Well, this mosque is right in the middle of, this is in Brooklyn, New York, right in the heart of the USA. Arms are being kept in there, and guess what? Nothing's being done about it.
So as far as the American Hiroshima, in your opinion, we're closer than ever then?
Well, once again, according to all experts, everybody that looked upon into this problem, including Mueller of the FBI, when they start saying that you better get ready, Paul, I think we better get ready. Mm-hmm. You got people like Graham Allison, who's a liberal, from Harvard University. I respect him a great deal. He's in charge of the Belfer Center. He knows more about nuclear physics and nuclear threats than anybody in the world. He said it might be a matter of months.
What are they waiting on?
They're winning. Mm-hmm. Look at the people. Like I said, the people like Adnan al-Shukri-Juma and company are trained in nuclear technology. Mm-hmm. These weapons, we've had. People say, "What about these weapons that we're talking about?" This technology, these small tactical nuclear weapons, this technology is not new. It's been around since the Cold War. People if you're curious about what these things are,
I'd like to see
take a picture. I brought some pictures along. These are very small. Let's take a look at P-15. P-15, if you can, it's in the... okay. It's called Davy Crockett. You can see it's a very small warhead. You can see it on the end there. It weighs about 80 pounds.
That's a nuclear warhead?
That's a nuclear warhead. It's that small.
And like how many kilotons or something would that be?
This would be, now this weapon right here would be about 5 kilotons. Let me show you another one though.
What was Hiroshima?
10.
Okay.
Let's take a look at this one. Let's go to, how about P4? Okay. Once again, this was a small atomic demolition munition, SATMs, we call them in the military. It's very portable. This one you could carry on your back. Once again, it weighs about 80 pounds. Paul, this one have about a yield of about 10 kilotons.
Really? Same size as Hiroshima?
Yeah. Now people talk about suitcase. These nukes can be packed. They can be fitted into a warhead, as we've seen. They can be placed in a backpack, as we've seen. Take a look at P2. They can also be fitted. This is a SATM. This is from our military. This is an official photograph. Small atomic demolition munition. By the way, this is still an unclassified photograph. So you're seeing something for the first time.
Really?
But these things right now they weigh about 60 pounds. They're boosted with beryllium and tritium. They have a yield, many of them in excess of 10 kiloton. One of these went off, New York would be toast.
Really?
Yeah. Let me just tell you, just say this baby went off, right? If this went off at the site of 9/11, you got a yield of 10 kilotons. It means 10 kilotons of TNT. Okay, that's what it's equivalent to. Which means that all of Lower Manhattan would be decimated just by the conventional
blast.
Well, following that blast would come a fireball that would stretch to 750 feet in diameter. The core of that fireball would reach a temperature of 10 million degrees Celsius. 10 million degrees, which means that everything surrounding or in the vicinity of that blast would disintegrate right before your eyes. Let's visualize this. It means hotels would disintegrate. It would mean the theater district in New York would disintegrate. It would mean that the Empire State Building would disintegrate right before your eyes. All the cars, all the birds, everything would be gone in the blink of an eye. Paul, in the blink of an eye. And that's not the worst part. From that fireball would come winds, juggernaut blast, that would reach 640 miles an hour. And it would twist all the remaining buildings and structures into unrecognizable debris. After that would come the worst part. You'd have a mushroom-shaped cloud that would shoot up about 2 to 3 miles into the atmosphere, and it would carry irradiated debris that would be carried by the winds throughout Connecticut, throughout New Jersey, throughout portions of New York, and the end result would be that millions would be dead. That's if one went off. One. What if 7 went off? Well, I'll tell you what would happen if 7 went off. Think of even the electromagnetic blurb that would come from that. Your computers would shut off. Your cars wouldn't run. Everything would shut down. The minute after this, this blast occurred, what do you think your portfolios would be worth?
Right. I'm afraid people sometimes think that, a blast in New York would be bad, but it wouldn't affect me here in Texas,
I'm sorry, guys, but Houston is there's 7 cities that have been targeted by bin Laden. Boston, and these targets never change. There are 10 really right now, but there's 7 that never change. Boston, New York, Washington, D.C., Miami, Houston, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas.
Well, Las Vegas.
Yeah. Sin City.
Yeah. I tell you what we need to do is let the people catch their breath a little bit, okay?
Really?
Let's go to a song break, and then we'll come back and talk some more, okay?
What an appropriate song after a prayer like that. Thank you, God, for your word.
finding myself.
I would like to continue, Paul, with where did these weapons come from that supposedly are in our country right now?
Bin Laden, Paul, made his first purchase of nuclear material in 1993 when he was in the Sudan.
Okay.
This material came from South Africa, near Pretoria, a facility called Valendaba. And I'll show you a picture of the canister, as a matter of fact. If we could take a look at, let's see. Bear with me, people. P6. P6. See that little kid? That's the. This was highly enriched uranium. It came from, as I said, Valendaba. He made this purchase in 1993 when he was in the Sudan. He made the purchase from Sudanese officials, by the way. After that, Bin Laden and company made many additional purchases. Now, we can cut that picture, but having said that, let's realize something. In order to, I have to tell you another story in order for everybody to understand what's happening. In 1992, President George H.W. Bush initiated something called the Non-Lugar Nuclear Threat Reduction Act. And that stipulated that we would withdraw all of our nuclear weapons from all of our NATO allies, with the stipulation that, that Russia do the same. This is 1992. Now, there's a problem. 1992 in Russia, the Soviet Union has collapsed. The inflation rate has reached about 700%. 40% of the people are completely out of work and completely without any livelihood, any public assistance of any kind. If you go to any city in Russia at that time, you'll find food lines that stretch for miles, people just waiting for water, waiting for bread. Starvation has reared its specter. The military hasn't been paid for months, and they're starving. The suicide rate among Russian officers at this time, and Russian military people, exceeds 20%.
Wow.
Think about this. These guys are starving. They can't even afford uniforms. These are the people right now whom we are saying should take the nuclear materials from the Eastern Bloc countries and transport them to safe arsenals. These people are now, who are starving, who are underpaid, have in their hands materials that are worth millions of dollars. Millions and millions of dollars. And they're starving. Well, Russian admirals at that time even managed to sell aircraft carriers to the Japanese and fighter planes. Everything's up for sale now in the Russian military. Everything is up for sale. So the result of this is that the nuclear black market became flooded with nuclear material. How bad was